I definitely have things in this world that they're priceless. There's no price tag on them. You can't have them. Never for sale. Taking them with me to the grave type shit, right? Then you got things that they're not as important to you. They're not assets. Maybe they're liabilities. Maybe you have multiple of them. I don't know. Two two pairs of Jordans, right? You want them that bad? I'm not I'm not tied to them. You know what I'm saying? Not only can you have them, but you can have them for cheap. But let it be something that is important to me. Let it be something that's tied to my legacy. Let it be something that I built up, something that I'm known for, or even tied to my main job or my main form of income. One thing you can't have it for is a dope fiend price. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But this is a non-bully zone, man. That yesterday shit is just like I just can't believe these people's character. It's all right. Shout out to the chat and everybody coming in. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the Sorry It's True podcast. All right. Diddy. Anybody that thinks the Diddy news and the Diddy ripple effect of his verdict and his trial is going to slow down anytime soon is naive, right? Every time we look up, somebody tied to him or himself is going to be going through something. And I feel like at times it's going to be annoying. Like, here we go with Diddy again. More Diddy, more lawsuits. Oh, this person's getting sued now. This person's coming out the woodworks. But it's all always going to be significant because of the trial. See, going into the trial, a lot of that stuff I was listening to is just like, a couple of them we pulled the paperwork, a couple of them we talked about, a couple of them we broke down, and then we got numb. I was like, it's just too many lawsuits and too many updates, and this person's in the headlines now. I didn't speak to this person or hear from this guy in years. Now all of a sudden, y'all got me paying attention to Gene Deal. No, I don't want to follow Gene Deal. I don't even like him. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, but that's how I felt before. The after now, it changes things because the verdicts of what he was found guilty of, not guilty of, some of the testimonies, be clear. Just because he was not found guilty of things like, let's say, sex trafficking, there's a lot of things that we look at him for and say, oh, no, no, no. As far as rumors that we heard before the trial, we believe you did that shit now. So everything gets a different lens, legally as well as perception wise. And this shit with Big, dare I say, because of what we got out of trial and all the testimony, it feels true. If you would have asked me before the trial, I would have been like, man, that weird ass shit out of here. Now, it feels true. Because this is the guy that's in the room next door, as per Cassie's testimony, that's lit and an escort nut on her. She walks into the room and then she takes the nut off of her and wipes it on Diddy's nipples. I didn't even hit it. If I was on Diddy's defense, I would have told Diddy, I know that angle is not something that we need to fight, but I gotta try to get back out in the world one day. I need you to at least say in open court for these reporters that right there ain't true. Nigga didn't contest it. His defense, Brian Steele or somebody come out and say, oh yeah, by the way, Your Honor, and for the record and for the jury, that shit that Cassie said yesterday, that's not true. My client needs the whole world to be aware of that. His book, man, if he's ever super duper down and out, despite holding on to all his assets, all you gotta do is write a book. I'm telling you, man, 10, 15 quick $1 million book, man. He's good. Shit. All right. So we got this Biggie and Diddy story and lawsuit. We're gonna take a look at that. What else do we have after that? What else? We have some other stuff related to what we reported on yesterday. More continued development around the guy Clayton Howard, aka Dave, that is suing both Cassie and Diddy, saying, I don't want anything bad to come to Cassie. I love her beautiful children. I don't want to impact her life or anything. I just want to sue her now that I know that she has 30 million. All right, buddy. So we'll take a quick look at something around that. Young Thug not only is in his controversial bag again, but Brian Steele is also putting in a new motion for him. So let's take a look at that briefly. T.I., I mean, it all feels damn near related, right? So I kind of ignored the T.I. shit yesterday, day and a half maybe. And it's just like, nah, we got to bring it up. So the T.I. stuff, we'll take a look. What else do we got? Shannon Sharpe. Is Shannon Sharpe going through some behind the scenes negotiations that may impact his ability to stand on TV ever again. We shall see. And then I'll close out with some small stuff. So since we have so much going on, let's get to work, y'all. Good morning to the whole chat. I see y'all. I see all the members in the building. I see the general chat coming in. I see Miles in the building. Appreciate everybody here. 6 a.m. in the morning. You know how we rock. All right, let's go. Let's read this. I'm gonna stop saying trigger warning so much because we're adults, man. All right. And the more and more I get used to the maturity of my chat, the more and more I'm going to be saying shit that's of mature caliber, and just expect people to be alongside. All right. If you notice, you don't see me doing the pause game, right? You don't see me read something and say pause. Like, I don't want to train my mind to think gay thoughts, right? So I'm just going to be talking regular. And when we get to shit like this, just be mature or try to be mature. All right. All right. Diddy sued. Oh, I had to put that disclaimer out there just for reading the title. Diddy get sued. He masturbated into Biggie's shirt, got his semen on me. What the fuck? Diddy masturbated into a shirt from the late Notorious Big's wardrobe, ejaculated on a garment, and then threw it on another man's lap and arm, getting semen all over the guy, at least according to new lawsuit. The music mogul is being sued by John Doe, who alleges a bunch of sexually deviant dealings with Diddy over the year. Now, this whole John Doe thing, not surprised. But as I started to read this, you know what part of me wanted to know? How old this guy is. Like, I kind of want to name an age. I'll explain why I want to know how old this guy is in a moment. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you guys know there's a big difference between like a teenager going through this. Well, not all teenagers, and a grown ass. But I really, really want to know how old this guy was supposedly when this happened. I'll get into that more in a second. In the lawsuit obtained by TMZ, the guy claims around September 2020, 5 years ago. Here we go, people. Here we go. He was in a listening session with Diddy for Biggie Smalls' project when he says Diddy pressured him to take ketamine. He claims they went to a warehouse in Los Angeles where Biggie's clothes were in storage, and Diddy provided drugs to everyone present. He says folks were running around the warehouse tripping on drugs. The guy claims he ended up alone in a room with Diddy, who he says started watching porn on a phone. He claims Diddy grabbed one of Biggie's shirts off the rack and began masturbating in front of him. He says Diddy told him to finish Diddy off and claims Diddy orgasmed into the shirt before he could react. You're kind of having a slow response there, buddy. From the phone to the walking in the room. How do you even end up in the back room with Diddy at some dark room, whatever, off to the cut, and not start to question what this is about in the first place? What's more, God claims Diddy laughed and tossed the semen-covered garment onto his lap and arm. Laughed again and said, what? Laughed again and said, rest in peace, Biggie, before leaving the room. Yeah, if this was true, he would have to be high. Diddy would have to be high. In the suit, the man also alleges that way back in 2005, now we're going 20 years, people, Diddy shoved his penis in his face and told him to suck it. All right. I just tried to do the mature disclaimer. I got to take my own advice. Wow. He's suing Diddy for sexual battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and more. And he is going after Diddy for damages. We reached out to Diddy's camp. So far, no word back. Okay. So what do I want to leave up here? Let's leave the Diddy and Biggie picture up here. First and foremost, man. Unfortunately, should I say ridiculous? Wild alleged claims like this and lawsuits like this have legs because of what came out in trial. So let's just set that ground. This isn't something that I read it. I say, this is some comic book shit. Goodbye. Have a good day. Let's go on to the next topic, chat. This ain't that. This is fucking Diddy. This is Diddy. All right. Did you not watch the trial? Was you not here when we were doing the recast people? Were we not reading some of the shit that these people were saying he was doing behind closed doors? That's his business. But we believe he was doing a lot of this shit. So it has legs because it's him. Issue 2005 and 2020 is what we're bringing on the table. I definitely want his age to know how old he was in 2005. If in 2005 anything remotely close to this claim happened, and let's say you were in your teens, right, 20 years ago, right, and you're saying that Diddy shoved his dick in your face and told you to suck it, right? This is the type of shit where we feel like, yo, if this stuff is true, yeah, you beat the feds, but Diddy, you belong in jail. You belong in jail. You's a wild, nasty, violent, crazy. And that's why I say he would have had to, but maybe he would, I don't know. Allegedly for all of this, of course, right? But then fast forward to the headline part, 2020. How do you end up in a room, like that? Like if you guys are running around a warehouse and there's a listening session going on outside, whatever, and everybody's running around drugged up or whatever. I mean, it makes it sound like it was some 28 days after shit. Everybody's just running around, just freaking out because he gave everybody. All right, you paint the scene there, and it is a lawsuit. So there is a lot of things I still got to take with a grain of salt. But okay, Diddy is allegedly high. Other people is outside, whatever. You walk into this back room. Why does he walk you back there? I'm gonna tell you right now, the Diddies of the world they wouldn't even look at me to target me. I'm never gonna give off that aura in person, ever. I don't give a fuck what y'all see on camera. Cool, laid back, calm, chill. In person, if there's 20 people in that room, you are never gonna look at ARP like he's the one I'm gonna try to bring him in the back room with me and pull out this phone and see if he's gonna watch me jerk off. You would never do that to me. So this guy, I wonder if he's already got allegedly the sugar in his tank, allegedly, right? So you end up in this back room. Cool, that's between y'all. He pulls out a phone, there's porn playing. What's your reaction then? Questions, laugh, watch, walk out? What's your reaction at that point? Okay, for a man to jerk off in front of you, his dick is what happens when he pulls his dick out? How about reaction now? Still none. All right, well, 0 for 3 now. Okay, you got to be going long enough to fucking to nut, right? So how long is this happening? Is this a 5, 10, 15-minute long situation? And then when you get to the finale of the shit, he throws it on you. What do you? I'm looking for these reactions. Walked into the room, reaction. Porn starts getting played, reaction. He starts he pulls his dick out, reaction. He's jerking off for however long, reaction. He throws the nut on you, reaction. Where are this person's reactions? I go back, niggas in the chat saying 0 and 3. It's like 0 and 5 I just went, right? How many times do I spin back and say, if there's any truth to this stuff, allegedly, what are we teaching these kids? What era? This is why I wanted the age. Now I'm connecting the dot. What era are you people coming up in? If this is true, how much can you watch before you realize this is wrong? I don't like this, or I'm uncomfortable, or and here's the other. What era are you from? If you ever find me in this situation, which would never happen, there's too many reactions that would happen before he got a chance to even get to the end of the t-shirt, right? If I ever ended up in a situation like this, you guys would never hear about it in no lawsuit, ever. I don't know what era some of you motherfuckers come from, but how does nobody can even convince me to file a lawsuit. You can't even convince me to file a lawsuit. You can't. I wouldn't even think, my mind wouldn't go there. I'm thinking violence. Like, how do you walk away from this? And then if you're so traumatized, 5 years later, you then follow. We know it's all connected to the shit that's going on with Diddy right now, right? We get it. It's lawsuit time for everybody. Even Cassie's getting sued. 30 million came out in the trial. Ooh, bet. The A-verbs is everywhere right now. It's part of the game. I fucking get it. But what era is a man from to go through those 4, 5, 6 different moments where you should be reacting, where Diddy didn't get hands and feet put the fuck on him? I don't even know if I could just walk out without hitting. If I don't try to beat the shit out of you in that moment, it's because your dick is out. That's the only thing that make me say, like, you know what? When you get dressed, I'm gonna see you outside. Because I owe you an ass whooping and a half for that. What? Side note now. This is now the second time where I'm offended that the King Biggie's name is coming up. See, Cassie fucked him over in the trial where she said Diddy was checking into hotel rooms using the alias Frank Black. I felt so disrespected by that because we all know Biggie is Frank White. Okay. So here you are checking into FreakOffs, running around all this shit under that alias of all aliases. You couldn't choose a fucking a John, a James, a Jason, a Jacob, a Jason game. I just use a bunch of J's. I don't know why. Nothing. You want to use Sean? Not Sean. Sam. I don't know. Skip. You got like, what the fuck? Why? Frank Black. And here goes Biggie's name again. Let me nut up in this Biggie Smalls garment and t-shirt and throw it on a nigga and then say, rest in peace, Big, allegedly. If there was truth to this, Diddy, once again, you need to be in jail. I ain't gonna lie to you. If this is how you out here celebrating the king's passing by nutting on his clothes and throwing it on another man, that would make him. We already classified. We saw the tape with Cassie, right? But it's past statute of limitations. He didn't get caught up in no domestic disputes. Him and Cassie stamped that out. They doing FaceTime videos. They paying off the security guard. They pulling footage or whatever. They got out of that situation, even though that's not the first time Diddy didn't put hands and feet on somebody. We know that. Violent ass nigga. But what's bugged out is, as much as I see violent people out in the world, right? When you add on this level of reckless, freaky, wild abandonment, it makes you damn near fucking straitjacket worthy. Imagine this was true. I'm just pulling niggas in the back room, nutting in fucking clothes. I'm throwing it on niggas and saying, rest in peace, Big. Then there's something here. Real shit. I'm not bullshitting. There's something here. All right. If it's not prison, a mental asylum or something. And even more trippy is the Diddies of the world. When we see him, when he takes that public persona, when he gets on camera, when it's time to do a commercial, when it's time to get up there and receive the key to the city from the New York mayor, we don't see none of this. That's what's spooky. You don't look into him from his public perception and see, yo, this guy is straitjacket behind the scenes. No, for real. No sarcasm. Rest in peace, Big. Like, no sarcasm. That's not a punchline. All right. Continued shit from yesterday. Shout out to TMZ on their game. I want to add this. I didn't say this, but let's put this on record. Cassie. So you got your 20 million from Diddy, right? And I think it said that owed 10 million, or it's like 10 million in flight as it relates to the hotel, suing the hotel. So I don't know if she got the money, right? So let's say, look, watch this real quick. I don't know. I'm not trying to be overly petty or nothing like that. How much money is left after you take out state and fed taxes from $30 million? And I'm going to say, I'm just going to use the state of New York, right? The hotel was in New York, right? That the shit happened. I'll just say New York. From New York State and Fed tax. Let me see if I can get an answer. Google, I know you kind of behind the curve these days, especially when it comes to AI, but let's see. The highest federal income tax bracket of 37% applies to a 30 million income in 2025. The U.S. uses progressive tax system, meaning different income portions are taxed at varying rates. Yeah, she probably wants to vote for Trump heavy right now. Now she's got 30 million, change the tax bracket. The 37% rates apply only to the income portion within the highest bracket. 37% is marginal tax rate. Are you going to give me the fucking answer? Google, you are shit. Okay. It's got it above 5.19 in 2025. That's a lot of money coming out. That's a lot of money, right? You got your own legal fees going on. You got life. You got, if you had any debts. I just say that to say this. If you're Cassie and you're Cassie's husband, you're that family, and you're walking around with $30 million right now, you have a while before you start spending it. And when I say start spending it, I don't mean like you can't chip off 50 grand here or 50 grand there for something that you need to take care of, right? You can't put your head down and say, all right, it's time to buy this $8 million home, right? Or $7 million home. Or I've always wanted this Lamborghini. Got to treat myself. It's going to make me feel better. You can't go in that lane yet. You don't know for how long Cassie will feel the hovering exposure for lawsuits from these escorts, from God knows who that comes out the woodworks. Averb is right now trying to figure out how he can get his hands in Cassie's pocket. And it could be for a while. It could be for a while. You might just have to let your 30 million minus taxes and legal, all the stuff that you got going on. Let's say hypothetically you're down to a solid 20 million, right? You might have to let that sit in whatever form that you would sit in, whether it's just a regular savings account or some type of stock, whatever. You might need to let it sit and just pull your necessities from it instead of live within it. You guys know what I mean when I say live within it. It's like that feeling of, oh, I hit the lottery. I don't know if it's smart to do that right now, because you might turn around and here goes a $5 million civil suit. And what if you lose it? Right? You don't want to end up like Dame Dash, where you're taking these L's and then you don't even have the assets or the liquid to pay these people off, right? And this is what Diddy's going to be living through for the rest of his life as well, navigating civil suits. And it doesn't have to be losses. It could just be the litigation prices, the litigation money that you're spending. Cassie can't go spend that 30 million. She can't. She just got to let it. You got to move around it a certain way and pull from it, but chill out. It's real rap.
That people have had time to process it. I got to say, such a spectacular loss on the part of prosecutors in the Diddy case. Getting convicted of the Mann Act, he is going to get out within a year. I mean, based on based on sentencing guidelines, prosecutors are asking for a little more than 4.
Right.
And he's already served nearly a year. He's not going to get 4. He's going to get less than that. He could easily get 2 under the sentencing guidelines. And he's already.
Remember, y'all, everybody place your bets. I said anywhere from 5 to 7. And that's in total. I don't mean like 5 from each charge and then ran consecutively. I don't mean that. I mean, he's not going to receive more than 5 to 7 in total. And then who knows what parole boundaries might be set there with his opportunity to get out before. But everybody from professional level all the way down to little ghetto lawyers like me don't got him getting huge time based on what they brought him in for.
Already served 1, plus there's credit that he's going to get. Diddy will get out. But when he got back to prison, it was raucous.
On Wednesday night, when he walked in after, like you said, certainly he views it as a victory. The other inmates gave him a standing ovation.
He beat the feds.
Because he beat the feds. His attorney, Mark Agnifilo, said that he got basically a hero's welcome because they don't, the way the other inmates see it, they don't, this is such a rarity that someone beats the government.
Very rare. I mean, the government has such, when you look at the resources in Diddy, to get 70 Homeland Security agents to raid 2 houses, to spend the time to put 6 prosecutors on this, and all that they did, it is hard to beat that. And he had the money to hire a legal team that kicked their ass. I mean, they just did.
That's why part of the reaction of the other inmates sort of surprised me, because you could see it cutting the other way, that they'd be resentful that a guy with lots of money and power was able to beat the feds while maybe some of the people in prison didn't have those resources. But it cut the other way. They just want to see the government beaten, and there's a real camaraderie in prison. And he apparently came in and was feted like a hero, a returning hero, after being told he had to go back and sit in the facility and not be released on bond, which I think was a bit of a stomach punch to Diddy. There's some of the sketches show he was quite upset with that ruling, but it must be nice to come home.
You know, I did some recon on this, and I was actually wrong on this, because I thought he would get out, but they knew he wasn't, and they were prepared for it because they conceded domestic violence in open court. So they kind of knew that he was going to stay in until sentencing. Nonetheless, now there's been a shoe that's been put on another foot.
Right. The immediate aftermath of the trial for Diddy was getting that applause in prison. For Cassie, it was getting hit with a lawsuit that was filed by a man named Clayton Howard. He's one of the male escorts that had FreakOffs with Cassie and Diddy. During the trial, he was referred to as Dave, but he says that not only did Diddy control him, but Cassie controlled him. So you have now Diddy and Cassie as co-defendants in this lawsuit that accuses her.
Hilarious to me.
Clayton claims that she got pregnant and had it with his child and had an abortion without telling him. Also that he got an STI from her. And he said all along, you know, people during this trial, you had Cassie as the victim. She was victim one, but his experience, he says, is that she was very much in control. This is what he had to say about why he didn't file this lawsuit sooner.
One, I was in an economic position where I really needed the money. Two, Mr. Combs is incredibly powerful, and Ms. Ventura had no problem in her use of that power. There's a side to her that people do.
The moment you say you was in an economic position where you really needed the money, doesn't that take off the table of like coercion and them forcing you? Right? Because he used the word coercion in that video that he put, right? As soon as you say you was in a financial, he said one. He put it in order, as if that was top dog, top priority, top reason why he continued. And once again, he was there for like 8 years, right? 8, 9 years. He said, financially, I was in that type of spot. That's on you, right? No? He might need to shut the fuck up.
The side that manipulated Sean Combs' power, the side that embraced his power and his position to do things that she wanted. So I was always afraid if I stopped coming, then I would start having problems, because she threatened me several times to come and made me feel uncomfortable that I would come to see her just to avoid any problem with Sean Combs.
So, you know, what's interesting about this, we spoke to one of the alternate jurors over the weekend, and he was saying, look, that he felt, and it sounds like the rest of the jury did too, that it wasn't so much a victim, although a lot of people on the outside say it was, as somebody who was consenting and was getting something out of the relationship. He's kind of echoing that in a way.
Yeah, that is certainly what Clayton was saying, that what she got out of it was power. And he said that he actually did want to file this lawsuit. He didn't want to wait until the trial was over. He wanted to file it before. He claims his attorney basically was in cahoots with the prosecutors and didn't want to make Cassie look bad. And that's why he eventually, Clayton, filed this lawsuit himself. He didn't file it with an attorney. So
it's a little bit strange that his attorney would not want to sully Cassie's reputation if he ends up suing Cassie. What is interesting to me about this is we did see glimmers of another side of Cassie during the criminal trial. Remember, there was an audio recording of her threatening another one of these alleged sex workers, and that showed a different perspective on who she was during this 11-year relationship, sometimes consenting, maybe sometimes even embracing the power that Diddy had. So I'm not sure you can discard what Clayton is saying in this lawsuit out of hand, but I think both things can be true. She could have been a victim in some respects and a perpetrator in others, potentially.
This is Mackenzie from Bucks County. I think as an attorney, this case with Mr. Howard is not going to get far with Cassie as a co-defendant, in my opinion. This escort claiming that Cassie has a different side to her, that embraced the FreakOffs and was trying to manipulate Diddy and Mr. Howard after we all just saw her testimony that she was also being used and manipulated and heavily into drugs at this point in her life, makes the accusation very misguided. Bottom line is that she's not the person who started the FreakOff, so I would be willing to bet that he's not going to be awarded any monetary damages from her in this suit if it even moves forward at all.
I will say, the way you're putting it is what a lot of people said before we heard the jury speak. The jury is not embracing what you just said. They didn't embrace what you just said, that she was a victim.
At a civil trial, it's going to be up to the jury, or I'm sorry, it's going to be up to the judge to look at all the facts of the case. And the facts of the case are simply that Cassie was not the initiator of all of this.
Yeah, not the initiator, but you know what the.
But I think Clayton may suffer the same thing that Cassie did, in that if this actually goes to trial, that they're going to say, look, you were along with this. You were getting
along for
paid.
the right, exactly.
You were getting paid very well. So
you weren't being manipulated or
Right.
forced into doing anything.
right. So he
I
may
think
suffer
you're
the
right.
same fate that Cassie.
And
did.
I think he will.
Yeah, I don't understand what Shorty said either with the whole the initiator. I mean, that's almost a common sense thing to me. Like, you're gonna blame only in the legal system the initiator or the person that started it. That's not how it goes. If I walk into a building right now and I say, "Hey, everybody, let's riot, man! Fuck this, it's up outside. Like, I can't believe they doing this out there to us, man. You see what the president just said this morning? Let's go." And everybody says, "You know what? You're right. Listen," and everybody charges behind me and then starts tearing up the retail stores and all that outside and all that. Everybody gets off of me. It don't matter who fucking initiated it. I mean, that person might get slapped heavier, right? You want the ringleader, you want the leader, you want the top dog, but that doesn't make everybody else a non-co-conspirator, non-active, they didn't break the law, they didn't do anything. So you have legitimate claims on Cassie if she did these things. You knowingly did this, or you gave me even if you gave me an STD unknowingly, people still file lawsuits over that shit too, right? And then he knows a lot. This guy was around for 8 years. He's probably seen a lot. He's probably been around a lot, and he's got all these different angles to use to go try to get himself a piece of that $30 million, right? I don't fuck with the guy. I think he has some legitimate arguments towards both of them because they was moving around with these nasty ass freak-offs, right? But it's still the money grab side of things, and you know, it is what it is when it comes to the new job these days, right? All right, let's move on from Diddy. Let's go to Young Thug. Young Thug, you out here again. What you got going on controversy wise, man? Shout out to Young Thug. All right, so Young Thug, if you are a rapper and you a rat, you gotta just go gospel, twin. Now, Young Thug has been against rats forever, right? No, that's consistent. We're used to that. It's that last piece that stands out. The twin, right? If you're a rapper and you're a rat, you gotta just go gospel, twin. The twin. So everybody believes he's talking to who? He's subbing who? Gunna, right? Now look at some of these comments. The first one says, if you're a rapper on paper after beating a Rico, still talking street, just go to jail. That's the first comment. Oh my God, that's got 1,062 likes. Under that, you see, time to grow up, Jeffrey. That's the second comment. The third comment, the whole YSL told, nigga, you go gospel. That's the third comment. The fourth comment, it's jealousy. So many loving Gunna and his music, but the thing is, everyone rooted for you to come home. Now look at this. I'm gonna stop after just 4. So you already see, you know, there's a billion comments like this of him getting backlash, right? And social media backlash ain't the end of the world, obviously. But I do think that there is some truth in that with the whole Gunna and Gunna's continued success. That does burn people. When you know somebody isn't right and when you know somebody did wrong like that, and you still could watch them out there move in a way such that people swept it under the rug, or people didn't catch on the way they should have, or people still support something that technically we feel that they shouldn't be supporting, right? Even the people that are giving him backlash, I'm pretty sure if you asked all of them outside the situation, just in general, how do you feel about somebody that is a rat? Not somebody that is a tattletale or that is a civilian or, you know, uses the police forces or anything. No, we're talking about somebody that is involved in some type of illegal activity, knowingly, willingly. Their time comes, they get their ass in trouble and they turn cold on their peers, right? Straight rat, straight snitch. Ask the general person that's giving him backlash how they feel about that. I'm pretty sure they would say, that's a dirty motherfucker, because the nature of your character to involve yourself in something and then when it doesn't go your way to flip and like, that's just a shitty person, right? So if that's your sentiment, Young Thug is burning up inside still, if you ask me. because that's one thing that Gunna still is successful as shit. Now you worked out your probation terms to still be able to interact with Gunna, so that I assume you could still leverage the business aspect of things, still capitalize on what Gunna does out there because he's winning. Right. So make up your mind. And that's one thing we gotta call Young Thug out for. Okay. How much code are you willing to really apply, Young Thug? If it's total 1000% disassociation from a rat, that should include money as well. Right? Because if I walk up to Young Thug right now as an interviewer and I say, Young Thug, I want to ask you a question on camera for all your fans and the whole world. If I told you right now I was a rat, but I wanted to do business with you just so you could make money, or you didn't even have to see me, you didn't have to interact with me, I'm a rat. I want you to still just sign me to your label or allow me to be signed to you indirectly or work with your manager or something, just so I could funnel some money to you. You don't have to talk to me. You don't have to deal with me. You don't have to work with me. You don't have to tweet about me. You don't have to post me. You don't have to feature with me, nothing. But I just want to be in a position where what I make, some of the money can go to you. Young Thug right there on that camera is supposed to say, fuck no. Because I ain't associating with no fucking rat. Look at Lil Durk. Who was it that got accused of being a rat? They say Lil Durk sent him his money back. It's supposed to be a feature, right? He said, nah, I'm good. He sent him his fucking money back. So technically, if we go in 10 out of 10, 100% standing on rat moves and rat code and all that type of stuff, you're not supposed to want to do continued. I understand you guys may have, like, let's say, catalog already. Like, if Young Thug already has past dealings and catalog up until the point where he did what he did, and you still capitalize on that, I got no issue with that. I got no issue with that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about going continued after that moment. You're supposed to sever everything, right? There's no more new after this. And instead, we saw Brian Steele get up there and petition for Young Thug to still be able to come within a certain range and interactions of Young Thug. I mean, of Gunna. So go to 100%. Don't do 90%. Go to 100%. Because it's either you want him out there winning so that you can still capitalize, or you hate the fact that you look up and he's still out there winning. It's a fucking contradiction. Am I missing something, people? It's a contradiction. Now, to Thug's credit, I do believe he has that level of passion. He almost lost his life, or his freedom, right? It's like Little Durk. We'll mention him again. Little Durk did that interview with DJ Academics, and his whole thing with rats is so personal because he lost his father behind it. You know, time spent with his family. And he just grew up in a way where he's seen it tear apart his family and other situations. And he has no respect for it at all. He wants to be far from it. And I understand that. I could respect that. You know, you have a personal thing towards, like, no, let me tell you what a rat did to my life. Let me tell you what a rat did to my parents or my brother or my sister. I get it. And Young Thug, he probably felt the same even before he went through what he went through, right? As a street nigga. But then outside of being a street nigga, he just sat down and faced Rico and almost lost his freedom. He's supposed to feel even 10 times worse to rat. So I get it. I understand. But the two problems is, one, dude, we know that you feel that way and you are entitled to feeling that way towards rats, but stop fucking tweeting this shit. It's not even like hypothetical. They literally took some of your tweets after you got released and tried to violate your parole and make you serve your back end time. They just tried it. And the judge said, no, that ain't about nothing. We cool. But they just tried to put him back in jail for tweets. So why? And then here's the second factor. If, God forbid, if you end up in any parole violation, or they catch you in Atlanta for 2 days longer than you were supposed to be in Atlanta, or you go to do a piss test and they found some weed in it or some shit like that, they keep showing you, Thug. This is the type of shit that they want to use to tell the judge, not only are we here talking about his dirty piss, but he did this ever since. And the government likes rats. They built a majority of their fucking cases based on rats. Rats are protected. Rats get immunity. Rats get fucking labeled as John Does and Jane Does and fucking human source 1, confidential source 1 and whatnot. They protect them. They give them deals. They pay them money. The government. They put them on payrolls. They protect them. They got laws called witness tampering and all this shit. Leave rats the fuck alone. Dark Low is in jail right now for what? Witness tampering. Sending a letter to fucking the dude that was testifying against AR Ab. Rats are protected by the government. Stop tweeting this shit. The government is obviously, you had one of the biggest hip hop entertainment trials in God knows how long, right? Rats were a part of the case. The government is on you for street activity, and you tweeting street code shit still. Brian Steele, did you not sit this man down? Sooner or later, Brian Steele, I could walk you to the pond, but I can't make you drink, motherfucker. I got to cut ties with you too. Unless you got another $10 million for me to make defending your ass. Yeah, I'll take the money. I'll take the trial. I'll fight for you. But shit, if you want to go back, that's on you. And some people probably looking at it like it's just a tweet. No, I just explained why it's more than a tweet. They will develop a pattern of what you portray and use it against you the first fucking opportunity that they get. They are dying to use any of those fucking eggshell stipulations tied to your fucking parole. They're dying to invoke them and say, hey, Young Thug, welcome back to the system. Let's talk. They're dying for this shit. That's why they gave him all that shit. It's like they gave him a revolving door. Everybody's like, damn, you see all this shit he got? I can't wear the color black. I can't wear the color blue. I can't wear the color red. I can't scratch my nose on camera. That's how they did him. Like, all right, all sarcasm aside, he can't do this. He can't do this. These tweets, buddy. Is there anybody else ranting like this to him in his corner? Anybody? Back to his legal update, not just his tweets and his gun and shit. Check this out. Brian Steele has filed a motion asking for a hearing for the judge to modify and reduce Young Thug's probation terms. Speaking of all his probation, Brian Steele's in the middle of trying to fight for the shit. It's so fucking crazy, his probation terms. They're now going back and trying to reduce some of this shit. Brian Steele won't stop until Young Thug is fully free. After securing a big win in the Diddy case, he has now filed a motion to modify sentence on behalf of Young Thug, asking for a hearing for the judge to reconsider, modify, and partially reduce some of Thug's probation terms. We were just talking about his probation terms. Can he please stay in Atlanta for, I don't know, at least 2 weeks? Can he please interact with some of his family, or can he please I don't even want to bring it up, but his terms were crazy. Here it is. We don't need to read it. That's pretty much summarizing the caption, what we read. But yeah, filed it to Fulton County. Brian Steele's trying to get back in front of the judge and negotiate. Thug, stop helping these people. Stop helping these people, man. All right. I'm gonna leave Thug alone, man. It's coming from a good place. That rant was coming from I'm telling you, man. He seems like a cool guy, man. I don't know how guilty he is or not guilty of some of that shit that he was on trial for, but seems like a cool guy. You got one of the wins of a lifetime. Don't do it to yourself that easily. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, all right. I mentioned T.I. in the intro, right? I'm not ignoring it anymore. What the fuck is going on? Let's play this little quick update first that I found this morning, then we'll get into some of the backdrop.
T.I. and Tiny better lawyer up. They are being accused of trafficking women and passing them off to their son King by their longtime accuser Sabrina Peterson. Sabrina got upset and claimed that Tiny ate every box in Atlanta to get a ring from T.I. after she saw Tiny seemingly celebrating the Diddy verdict. Best friend of Diddy's deceased baby mother, Kim Porter, took to her Instagram to celebrate the outcome of Diddy's trial. And in response to that, Tiny said, yeah, people want to charge you so bad for being freaky. It's nasty words. Sabrina was not feeling this. Commented on the post saying, don't worry, you're next. It's the trafficking, coercion, institution, and you can't give consent while you're forcing the victim to take drugs. In addition to that, she posted a slew of Instagram story posts saying, don't make me drop the trafficking receipts, you piece of work. I want to say the girl's family contacted my attorney because their child is in a web of drugs institution led by the Harris family. Went on to say, I have been quiet too long. You have been quiet, you loose woman. This one is for T.I. She said, you made your wife eat every box in Atlanta to get a ring, and she actually added him. He's got sticky when she accused him of passing off girls to their sons. She says the next message is between the trafficked girl and King. Went on to post a text message correspondent between King and the alleged girl. But it just seems like regular text messages. They just asking each other what they're doing and what they've been up to. So I don't really understand what she was getting at with this text. She really thought she ate with that because she said, this is your king, this is your activist, this is your icon, and this is someone's misguided daughter. Sabrina is literally doing the most. She already lost a lawsuit against T.I. and Tiny and has been ordered to pay them a substantial amount after a judge ruled in their favor regarding her previous allegation. She is not letting losing her last case deter her from pursuing a new case. She claims that she is trying to take this all the way to federal court. I'm curious to know what you guys think regarding this. I want to know if y'all think these rumors are true. Let me know down in the comments. I always knew that T.I. and Tiny was into some crazy stuff, but I never thought it would have been something like this. And to bring the kid into it is a whole nother level of disrespect. Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Peace. T.I. and Tiny better lawyer up. They are being accused of trafficking women and passing them off to their son King by their longtime accuser Sabrina.
When he said the passing stuff off to, or women off to his son, I'm in the background of a skit crossed my mind. Here it is. I found it. Yeah, I'm doing this live, people. Something just crossed my mind when he said that. This doesn't make any. It doesn't create any guilt, people. Okay, and on top of that, I don't even know how old King is. So this could have been still with an adult. Adult to adult is what I'm saying. But I do remember this skit. It just popped to mind when I was watching that shit.
Hey, can I do a video with you to make my ex-boyfriend jealous? He's stressing me out.
Well, wait a minute. Is your ex-boyfriend, how he still stressing you out?
He just always on my line. Just
you love him still? You love him still.
No,
look at your face.
I don't need to make you mad.
Nah, what you want to make him mad for? Why you care if you don't love him? I only do it if you still love him.
I care for him a little bit.
You care for him a little bit? See, I just wanted to get you to tell the truth. That's what you got to do to get a woman to tell the truth. Now, what you need me to do exactly?
Okay, just be in my video.
Well, doing what in your video? Because what we don't want to do, I don't care nothing about how mad you make your boyfriend. We can't make my wife mad, and that's what we can't do. You get what I'm saying? So, that's what we can't do. So, what you want me to do? What you need me to do? Yeah, excuse me.
All right, babe. You can help me make my... Okay, babe.
Now, it looked like there was an little jump there, but I remember this skit. After T.I. jokingly says, like, nah, we ain't gonna get my wife mad, he says, you might want to holler at him, and points to his son, right? And then she starts talking to his son, and then you get to this piece.
Yes, so this will look at my coochie from the back tonight.
Hey,
right now, people, once again, I don't know how old King is. Let's say he just had a kid too, right? Like King is he's old enough, right? I'm pretty sure. So, and there's a lot of men out there that endorse their young men sons, you know, entertaining women and hey man, I might want to talk to my son. Like, I think that could be harmless, right? But I can see how somebody with a lawsuit, here we go, these lawsuits, will jump on top of that type of wave and say, like, now if you're into sex trafficking, allegedly T.I. and Tiny, I was also sex trafficked to his son. Okay, so you got to be careful how people start to connect these fucking dots in these lawsuits. Now, this isn't old stuff, but as far as it coming into the news now, let's pull up this article first. What do we got here? T.I. addresses resurfaced sex trafficking allegations. This article went up yesterday, July 7th, people. Now, once again, resurfaced. That's very important because when I saw the article this morning, I said, you had some shit that happened before allegations. Is this a where there's smoke, there's fire situation going on? Is this like a brand new one? I don't believe so, which is to T.I. and Tiny's credit. You know, it's not like if you keep telling me that, yo, he was with this minor in 2005 and then 2007, another minor, and then a different allegation come out in 2010, then I'd be like, damn, what the fuck? But this is resurface stuff, people, okay? That's very, very important, you know. Rapper and actor Clifford T.I. Harris publicly responded this video this week, renewed sex trafficking allegations from former acquaintance Sabrina Peterson. He denied the accusations as propaganda, urging people to focus on the truth and positivity. Denial and dismissal. In a video shared on Instagram over the weekend, T.I. spoke without naming Peterson directly. He opened with, "Yeah, man, I'm just out here, man. Just thinking how beautiful it is today, man. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day. Do not spread lies and to mind your business." So he's saying that this is propaganda, maybe could be continued ripple effects of Diddy's verdict. That is definitely the climate right now, people. But later in the clip, he added, "Don't be out here spreading propaganda just because you're unhappy with your life and yourself, man." He presented his point. God has blessed you too, man. Don't look to anybody else and point blame at somebody else. His tone blended calm reflection and a firm pushback. Does sound like he's subbing. T.I. also employed a lighter touch, pivoting mid-video to promote upcoming comedy shows. Okay, cool. Allegations renewed. Peterson resurfaced her claims earlier this month. She reposted Tiny Harris's social media response to the Diddy verdict, then issued fresh, serious charges. It's the trafficking, coercion. This word coercion is, I bet you if you get the Google search analytics of coercion, it's like times 1,000. The word got popular, and then when we watched the guy that's suing Cassie, whatever, he does his live video. No, so what they did was they coerced me. People feel like it's a legal word now, like it's legal terminology to prove out that you were taken advantage of from a legal standpoint. That'll hopefully put you on the road to winning some fucking lawsuit money. Averb is going to start using the word coercion. I promise you. It's the new thing. It's the new fucking thing. It's trafficking, coercion, prostitution, and you can't give consent while forcing your victims to take drugs, she wrote on Instagram. She also stated she will release sex trafficking receipts on July 19th, her birthday. That's corny as shit. All right, so that's what 11 days from now. But once again, if there's sex trafficking going on, right? How come the police were never involved? This was the past. I believe she lost this lawsuit. Now you're bringing it back amidst the Diddy stuff. And if you want to drop receipts, if you're on this expose of T.I. and Tiny right now, why the fuck do you want to drop this shit or wait till your birthday? What's the significance on, it's my birthday, let me drop these receipts? That's weird. That's lame. That makes me make me look at you differently. Receipts dropping on July 19th, her birthday. What? Sex trafficking receipts. You know what might happen? That's what happened to the dude that was messing around with Fat Joe's name in the public. He kept posting stuff that would make Fat Joe lose endorsements and sponsorships and his money, his fans, saying that he was running around with minors, etc. Right? And he was trolling them online with those type of allegations. And Fat Joe went and lawyered up, and he started to sue the guy. I believe Fat Joe sued the guy before dude started suing him. When now dude's lawsuit that we read, his shit is scary. I ain't gonna lie. It looks, it's a lot going on in there. But T.I. and Tiny might just say, I know how to deal with you. We're gonna sue you. They might. You go ahead and drop these receipts on July 19th. I'm looking. I'm like, go ahead, Verb. Go ahead. Like go ahead and put out proprietary information. I could stand it business wise, but like just give me more foundation to do the things that I do. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Go ahead, release it. You know what I'm saying? But sex trafficking receipts, you put that out there, they better be firm. T.I. and Tiny will absolutely lawyer up. They absolutely will. In March, a Los Angeles judge dismissed Peterson's defamation lawsuit after determining she did not prosecute the case diligently. Records also showed she was found in contempt for failing to pay nearly $100,000 in legal fees to T.I. and Tiny, which was declared moot once the case was dismissed. The defamation suit filed by T.I. in December 2024 remains active. Oh, so they already have a defamation lawsuit on her. My bad. She already took an L to them too. Like, she almost lost $100,000 in, you know, let's say it gets dismissed, and then I say, all right, my legal fees, T.I. and Tiny, was $100,000. We want that from you now because you was wrong and you were a plaintiff or whatever. But in dismissal, you can have settlement agreements like, all right, I'm gonna go my way, you're gonna go your way. But if you went through it already with them legally, I don't know why you would come back with more stuff publicly like this unless you were just ready to lawyer up again and go after them again. Hence, T.I. having the type of response on his video saying, look, man, don't blame me if you're not happy with your life. We already been here. We already went through this. You're coming back again? Go to a lawyer if you still have some type of problem or receipts on me then. You continue to attack me after already taking an L to me, says something. That's weird. I don't know. That's weird. All right. Now I did pull up a bunch of history, but we kind of covered the past of it enough where we don't got to get too much in the weeds here. But this was an old video of him addressing the allegations.
My wife is a beautiful person with an amazing spirit and a kind heart. She's a devoted mother, and she has a humble soul. She don't deserve it. She don't deserve it. Now, what we're not going to do is open up the door to my bedroom, as you shouldn't have to either. Open up the door to my bedroom for everybody to come in, chime in, and make their opinions about what we do and don't do or should or shouldn't do. But I will say this. Whatever we ever have done has been done with consensual adults who into what we into and like what we like. If we want something, we know exactly where to go to get it. We ain't never forced nobody. We ain't never drugged nobody against their will. We ain't never held nobody against their will. We ain't never made nobody do anything. We ain't never trafficked anything. Well, sexually trafficked anything. I ain't never raped nobody. Never raped nobody. Also, I'm gonna tell you what's factual. Tell you what's factual. There have been fake stories put up that blog sites anonymously sent to this person. Blog sites anonymously sent fake stories to this person, and the person posted it as though it was a victim, that they were sure that it was a victim and it has been victimized. And what this does is it dismantles the mechanism that women have created for themselves. You can't weaponize something with baseless claims. These are not stories of actual events. They're not.
Okay. Now we keep it 1,000 with y'all. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with y'all, people. Rewind it if you need to. He started out by saying, what we're not gonna do is let y'all into my bedroom and my personal behind the scenes, what I do. True, right? But then he gets into this whole little piece of saying everything that we have done or anything that we have people, whatever, like he was speaking like in plural, like almost outside of him and Tiny, was with consenting adults. We never trafficked anybody. We never awed anybody. You know, like if you ask me, he just admit to involving other people inside him and Tiny's sexual relationship. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But boy, it's hot outside right now. This is an old video, but it's hot outside right now. Thanks to your boy Diddy. Okay? Anybody out there that is bringing other people into their relationship, it could be a stripper, it could be a prostitute, it could be a friend of a friend, it could be a friend, it could be somebody you met tonight, it could be a swinger, whatever. You bring somebody in, it's hot outside right now. And T.I., for the most part, admitted that is him and Tiny's thing, allegedly, I'll say here. And there's nothing, once again, nothing wrong with that. You know what? I'll even throw some more rope. as far as there being nothing wrong with that. I'll throw some more rope. I think we've seen in the public a couple times where we can assume the extras is what is helping these people stay together. Okay. Is Will Smith and Jada still fucking married? I think they are. They've been to hell and war and back. But even the August Alsina thing, right? Wasn't it during a time where people were saying like they were swinging? There was always those rumors around Will and Jada that they were swingers, and at times that they would allow each other to be with other people. I guess if you have this situation where the parents have an agreement, no matter what, from a children's standpoint, from a family standpoint, even from a business standpoint, right? We are never to part. Okay. Michelle and Barack, while I'm the president, no matter how we beefing, we have, it's a business thing too. It's a public perception thing too. Jay and Beyonce, they have probably at least $700 million intertwined together. Real, I'm dead serious. Like Will and Jada, there was a time where people were looking at Will like, yo, he might be able to run for president one day. And what does every president need? You need that wife figure next to you, that family. That's like part of it. Almost 99% of the presidencies, right? And then you look at T.I. and Tiny, right? They've always had a lot going on, ups and downs that were even a part of the TV shows and whatnot. And that's their business. Makeups and breakups and all that type of shit. Never divorced or never fully, right? Always continue to say we're here for each other. That's more than just family. Like, I want to give the bulk of the credit to family and love, but there's also incentives to like, yo, we got to keep this together. And that's dope. And sometimes that means that, look, man, we've been fucking for 30 years. I need some more excitement. And those type of couples may say, we're bringing people in. And if it becomes your thing, next thing you know, you're flying people in and out of your freak-offs once a month, right? Is T.I. and Tiny, were they doing freak-offs the same? You think Diddy is the only one out here? Only celebrity, only rapper, only black celebrity. You think he's the only one that's flying men or women in to be a part of orgies? No. How about we had this conversation prior where we said, not just rich men, but even men with money, they entertain women out of state just as much as they entertain, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because they just got it like that. This is the whole getting fluid out thing. It's just like, oh, look at this beautiful woman on Instagram. What do you need? A $500 flight and a car service to pick you up and then a whole, like, what? That's nothing. Yeah, whatever. Come meet me this weekend. A man with money doesn't have to only date women that are within a 30-mile radius. A man with money is just like, I'll see you tomorrow. You know how I'm going to see you tomorrow? I'm going to put you on this flight. You know what I'm saying? So, and then if you got shit rocking already, maybe you got other women that you know, other women you've been dating or hanging around for years, and you convince them, yo, I'm flying this other chick in. Next thing you know, somebody turns around and claims I was sex trafficked. So T.I. and Tiny, to me, got to be careful, you know, as well as everybody else that's into bringing people in from the outside, especially why Diddy got it hot. A lot of people probably looking at Diddy like, yo, you fucked up everything. Everybody was happy and everything was cool. You got us all looked at crazy now. That other guy or woman that I flew in 2 years ago, I don't know if he's gonna pop up and try to put a civil suit on me right now because of your ass. Everybody wants money. Everybody know I got money. I'm T.I. I'm fucking Diddy. Yeah. The ripple effect is massive. This is why this person is jumping back, talking about, yeah, July 19th. Here are a couple of my receipts. Diddy verdict. Damn. Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe, man. Is ESPN just about done for him? Let's see.
Shannon Sharpe and ESPN are in a negotiation about his exit. And this is how these things play out. If Shannon Sharpe quits, whatever that contract he signed with ESPN in the past 6 months to a year, if he quits, he surrenders all that money. if ESPN can fire him for cause, he surrenders all that money that's on paper from ESPN. And so Shannon Sharpe, trust me, the New York Post published a story today about this Michelle Bundy, one of Shannon Sharpe's ex-girlfriends, who has been saying for years that he attacked her, strangled her, threatened her, you know, the horrifying, all this other stuff. Story about her. Front Office Sports yesterday reported the story that I have been telling you about, that when Shannon Sharpe was at FS1, Freak Sports 1, and during the time that I was there, Front Office Sports has reported the story about the young, I believe the woman was 24, 25-ish, white girl, that my understanding, she was involved in a consensual relationship with Shannon Sharpe. This is my understanding. I was there at the time, heard this story in real time. It was the talk all throughout FS1. Shannon Sharpe and the production assistant that claimed Shannon Sharpe strangled her inside the Fox Sports studios, not the actual show studios, but in the building, the work area. And eventually, I think they moved this woman away from that show and it gave her a different job. But everybody at FS1 knew this story. Front Office Sports, and so this had to be 2018, 2019. Everybody talk about this story. Front Office Sports is reporting that Fox Sports and Shannon Sharpe reached a financial settlement with this young woman. Similar claims as the current woman. There's a pattern here. And so when you're looking at Shannon Sharpe and what's going on with he and ESPN and why he's trying to negotiate his way out, he doesn't want to quit. He wants ESPN to have to fire him without cause so that he can get some of that money that ESPN owes him. I imagine they probably signed him to a pretty substantial contract, maybe in the $4 or $5 million range. Who knows? I don't know, per year. And who knows? Maybe it's more than that, because he had great impact on First Take's television ratings, but he was only on there like twice a week. But regardless, Shannon Sharpe wants that money, because if he's going to survive, even in the podcast space, he's going to have to reach a bunch more settlements with potential accusers. What is Tony Busby, the lawyer that represents the woman with the $50 million lawsuit? What's his pattern as it relates to Deshaun Watson, Diddy? He kicks up enough dust and enough controversy that other accusers come out of the woodwork and they all want settlements. They all want to join the lawsuit. And so Shannon Sharpe needs as much money, cash, as he can get, because he's got some settlements that he needs to put in place so that he can eventually quiet down all the conversation about him and make sure all of his accusers are financially satisfied, so he can then go back to pretending like, oh, it's all a lie and rumor. I'm being extorted here. I did nothing wrong. He and ESPN are trying to negotiate their way out. ESPN likely.
The snow shade picture that he got up there is crazy. All right, number one. You gotta agree with the man when it comes to the patterns, right? Somebody has a Pied Piper ass pattern like R. Kelly, eventually we get to a point where we're saying we're either being naive or we're just sweeping under the rug or we're purposefully ignoring something, right? And that happens, right? You want to support your people. You want to give your people the opportunity to have their day in court. You know, sometimes you have certain amount of love or even unconditional love. How many times I tell y'all, Jeffrey Dahmer's father sat next to him in court the whole trial, supporting him, right? But it is true, right? He did have that previous situation of choking a woman, and he was released from that job. So, and then they got the audio with him now of like, don't make me come, I'm gonna choke you or whatever. So there's a pattern. Doesn't mean that he's guilty of all this shit. I think there's a lot of bullshit to this Gabriella Zaninga shit. I do. Doesn't mean that Shannon is fully clean though, right? So that's the first thing there. The second thing, with him saying, you know, the Tony Busbys of the world, how they kick up so much dust and they're looking for other people to join in and compound. I think there's also a con to that where you can have so many people, you know, with a claim that you force the person to fight because it's like, I have to win because I can't even afford to deal with all these different people. If I had one person like Gabriella, look what was happening before Gabriella Zaninga's lawyer convinced her to say, no. we're not gonna do this negotiation. We're going to submit for like 20, 50 million, right? Remember, they were behind the scenes for like a couple weeks negotiating just an agreement between them. They had some lawyers and a mediator there. It was reported, wasn't in court, and it was for like $10 million or something, right? So, you know, if it's one person and I got all this stuff going on, Club Shay Shay and ESPN and $100 million deal on the table, whatever, you know what? I would have gave Gabriella this 10 million if they would have accepted. But now you got Tony Busby, got 50 people coming out against me. I got no choice but to just keep working wherever I could work and fight all of this shit. I can't even afford to pay all these people off because they all want 50. So that's the second thing. The third thing of ESPN not being able to fire him with cause. I'm actually surprised at that. Because remember, in corporate America, there's a lot of firings that happen in the form of a step down. Yeah, he stepped down, or yeah, he's going on to a different bullshit. It's all situated behind the scenes between the owners, the CEOs, the people that push the buttons. You could even negotiate things with Shannon Sharpe. You have a $5 million term left with us, and we're going to give you $2 million to step down. We're going to give you $2 million to go away, right? So you have stuff like that. But even contractually, I'm just very surprised that a company as big and as strong as ESPN could not let somebody go with cause if they have a alleged civil suit going on, right? Because a lot of these contracts have to do with you maintaining a certain type of image and credibility and whatnot, right? Some of these contracts get so like if you speak to a sports entertainment attorney, you'd be surprised at some of the stipulations in these contracts, all the way down to things like you can't smoke cigarettes in public, because the image and the reputation that you need to keep by the time you get on this daily show on ESPN is so vital. We can't have you on Instagram or in the club landing on somebody's video, even smoking a cigarette. Look what happened with Paul Pierce, right? Like that wasn't illegal what he was doing. What was it like? He's just walking through like a weed farm or something like that, and it was legal. It was like legally grown shit. I think he was in a legal state, right? But they let him go. Eventually, he made his way back to TV, but they let him go. That public perception is like, nah, we're not dealing with this. Like, we can't have that for our type of demographic, fan base, and viewership. We're not having that. So I'm just very, very surprised that ESPN, being the mega weight that they are, can't find a way to get rid of Shannon Sharpe if that's what their goal is. That is a little surprising to me, but that could be a reality. TV would be done, and then you have to stay independent, which would be the podcast space, right? Would you still have the same access to all these celebrities? Some celebrities' managers are going to turn around, or even record labels behind them are going to turn around and say, no, we're not sending you to Club Shay Shay. That guy's walking around with an R allegation on him, right? Are your sponsors going to remain there? The ones that are still there? They had some that allegedly left, right? It's bad. I think Shannon's fight for ESPN isn't just about the money. It's about the visual. If he's fighting to stay there at ESPN as long as possible, it's also got to be like, if I'm on TV smiling and yucking it up with Stephen A. Smith and all these people, time heals things. You get to keep seeing me talk about, all right, is LeBron going to retire this year? And look what happened to this. And Giannis is about to get traded, whatever. And things continue to subside and dumb down. And we see you in this positive, nice, clean light. That is essential for him. Right. In time, while R. Kelly was still fighting his shit and he was out on bail, everybody forgot. He just kept releasing hit after hit and albums and touring and doing shows and Grammys, I think, or whatever. And he just remains who he was. And people forgot. So that's also a card that I think Shannon Sharpe would play by trying to stay at ESPN as long as possible, even if it's not about the amount of money. So makes sense, but this little girl, man, she got you caught up in some bullshit, babe. Got that $100 million taken off the table. Fellas, what would you do if you had a $100 million deal on the table and some girl came out with some frivolous allegation? I'm not trying to say that it's all frivolous. I think he did some shit, but I think some other shit is bullshit. But if a suit came out that you felt that you didn't deserve and the company had $100 million on the table and said, wait, we're going to hold on, would you kill her? No. I'm joking, people. I'm joking. But god damn. Shout out to Cal Capone in the building. For real, if ninjas are doing this, jail them. But these claims are becoming too frequent. I know there are weirdos out there, but where do we draw the line? Unfortunately, Cal, the line is it's tougher to draw than it's ever been because lawsuits are the new job. And people come out the woodworks just from seeing you in the headlines. I'm in the headlines, and then the ex-girlfriend comes out that hasn't seen me in 10 years and says, "Oh yeah, he slapped me too." Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, look at what Cassie's dealing with right now. She's literally Diddy's. She went from being on that stand trying to put him in jail for life to being his co-defendant a week after his fucking verdict came down. She's his co-D now. You know what I'm saying? So you can't draw the line the way that we used to be able to. You got to just fine tooth comb this shit as much as possible, and also allow enough time to pass to play shit out, because you got lawsuits that are 1000% frivolous, in my opinion. For example, the Zion Williamson one, right, with that girl Mariah. That shit, it kills me because the evidence and the text messages are already there. It's just like another one is the shit that Drewski just went through. You said that he was involved in like a gang and then he came with receipts showing that I'm states away. Phone calls, text messages, bank receipts, bank transactions. Crazy. We can, to a degree, even say the one with Jay-Z. Crazy that they're doing. Like, that girl is on audio. The one that accused Jay-Z, she's on audio saying, "I just did this because Tony Busby pushed me towards it." That's her. They sent a PI to her house, and her dumbass lists the private investigator in her house and allows the private investigator to interview her. And she says this shit, admits it on audio. Granted, from when we saw her on what was it, NBC or whatever, she never seemed like the sharpest knife in the box. But that's why people like that could even get used, right? So we got that type of shit. Those are like 4 big examples to me of like that's the times that we're in. Then you got mid-range. What's a MIDI? Mid-range is more like maybe Shannon Sharpe. We got shit that we look at that we say, wait a minute. We hear the audio of you saying you're going to choke her and this and that and some of these freaky ass text messages, and why is she this young? And you tried to you approached her in the gym by offering her a challenge of whoever loses the most weight. I'm gonna do like what? Was it like buy you some titties or something? I don't know. It's just like, yo, Shannon, you got some weird stuff, weird behavior, or some suspect, reckless behavior, and you got no business with these little ass girls when you like 50 something. Okay, but at the flip side, Gabriella looked crazy. Some of her allegations look like, oh, you setting this man up. Some of her text messages look like, I'm changing the words here, and I'm already in the process of lining you up and trying to get this bag up out of you. And I've been getting a bag up out of you, $10,000 per ass cheek and all this type of shit. She's a little young out there, sexualized, freaky ass girl too. And I think she manipulated a lot out of Shannon Sharpe. She was getting a bunch of bread out of her sugar daddy. And then when shit wasn't going her way, no means no text message. What? We've been fucking for 2 years. What you mean? You followed me to Nevada or to Vegas when I moved. What you mean? Now it's no means no. That type of text message to me, wait a minute, So that's like in the middle. Then you got shit where we look at and you're like, oh no, that nigga guilty. Right? So it ain't black and white no more. Ain't no more clear line in the sand no more, B. It's insane. You got a bunch of A-verbs running around. So how do you draw the line in the sand? You can't. You just got to expose them. It's wild, B. It's wild. All right. I thought this was dope. To see. Jesus. Chill out with some of the music. Oh my God. That shit looks so thick. It looks dangerous. Like, what? Is anybody else got footage like this, right? Any artist in the world right now got footage like this from a show that they're touring or doing, right? Like, that is insane. That is insane. If I'm Drake, I would have been shot this nigga, son. Like, I'm not home scrolling my Instagram and seeing that. I'm shooting this niggas. Shout out to my man L. Dot. He DM'd me this morning, and I checked this out. I was like, wait, what? How do I get mine? Did y'all see this? Am I the last person to see this shit? The world's first screenless laptop is here. Welcome to the future of computing. What the fuck?
When you want to turn vision into action. When you want to do more, much more than just play. When you have room to think big, then bigger. And when you have the space to hatch an idea, launch a business, or change the game, you have Spacetop. The AR laptop for work. The game changer for game changers.
Was it just me? Everybody saw that but me? Chat? Am I late? It's like Minority Report a little bit, right? With the screens, but to think that I could be on a plane in a little ass now, mind you, I travel with a small laptop. It's a laptop that's like this big. You know what I'm saying? So it's convenient. I could always put it on, open it up even on the airplane. It's cool. But this is next level, where I can have 5 virtual screens in front of me because everything is just the glasses. That's, I don't know. I'm late. My bad if I'm late. That's a good question. Sniper says, looks cool, but does that work if you wear prescription glasses? Somebody who's behind that product, they better have thought about this. Because what percentage of the world wears glasses? That's a great. Yeah, same thing here. I see y'all in the chat. Does it adjust for prescription? It would have to, right? All right, Chad's saying, I'm late with you, Thank God. Kay says, new technology every day, B. Wow. Never seen this before. First time. All right, good. I'm glad it's not just me. Okay, cool. Because I was going to be like, shit. If I'm the only person that didn't see that yet, then I need to start telling checks and balances and the chat and everybody out there that's like, y'all gotta send me this type of shit too, then not just our hip-hop news, because I don't know, I got Instagram like the rest of y'all. Why I ain't see it? All right, that rounds out today's stream, people. Hour and 20 minutes. Felt entertaining, man, from beginning to end. I like the Diddy topic, the T.I. topic. Oh, yeah, I don't know T.I. You and Tiny, you kind of admit it. You know what I'm saying? The Shannon one. The Young Thug one. Young Thug, please sit down. Yeah, y'all got me into rant mode a little bit there. It is what it is. But yeah, thank you, chat. Good stream today. Good energy today. Appreciate everybody in the building. So y'all go ahead. Get y'all days rolling if you haven't already. If you missed anything, you came in later, just rewind the stream. I'm going to get the timestamps in here in a second. Give me a few. And other than that, I'll catch y'all in the morning. It's your boy.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry Street Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
Without my thing, still got a gun.